and we'll go ahead and start that one, and we'll cover this, and we'll bring this up, and we'll feel good about ourselves here. Then I might as well go ahead and calibrate it too, make sure it's working. Oh my, it's working.
Yay.
We are in high cotton. And if you don't know what that means, it's your parents' fault and you need to get on to them about it. All right, we're recording here and we need to record here. There we go. All right, now this is what your dashboard looks like. That's what it looks like. Pull that down, if you don't mind. All the way down. Let me get that glare out. 4 buttons are very important to you. Homework, that's number 1. Why do you think homework is the number 1 button? Where you get your homework. Be surprised on how many emails I get from students saying, where do I find the homework? They don't even read the handouts. They don't even look at the dashboard. All they do is they say, okay, I'm on Course Compass. I don't know how to find it. Let me call them. Y'all, not y'all with me, general when I speak, students, have got to get out of the habit of asking for every single thing. If you go into your workplace and ask your supervisor for every little thing, what's he going to do or she going to do? Leave me alone! Or fire you. Where's the bathroom? When can I go to the bathroom? What's this paper for? What do I do with this paper? Any of you, what do you do when you go into a new environment and you're working? Do you ask the boss all the questions, or do you find somebody that you know or somebody that you're working with and ask them questions? You find somebody you're working with. All right? So read. I've given you that on your handouts, and I've given you that with these videos. So that's where you get your homework. The number 2. Why didn't I circle the whole thing? Because I don't give quizzes. Now, if y'all want me to, I will. But I usually don't. Excuse me, I have been, I don't know, maybe that's the only Sprite I've had. I don't know what's up. Study plan, I'm not going to call this a button. This is for your own benefit. The study plan is extra problems that you can do from here to eternity, and it doesn't affect your grade at all. It doesn't help your grade, but it doesn't hurt your grade. You can do 100 of them problems and get them all wrong, and it won't hurt your grade at all. You can do 100 of those problems and get them all right, and it won't hurt your grade or help your grade. What do you call them? Extra problems, extra practice. That's for your own benefit. Oh, this one's a hard one. End of the semester, the last week of class. I got to turn in grades 3 days from now, and I get emails. What's my grade for the class? I have no idea. That's what I tell them. I have no idea. But you can find it. Again, they don't read their handouts, and they don't listen to me when I go through this at the beginning of the semester. Grade book. What does it tell you? Your grade, Hubert. Yeah, that's right, class. At the top, there is a, Miss Poland, there's a button, right? And what does it say? Overall what? Overall grade. You did overall grade, and it tells you what you got for the whole semester. Now, of course, you haven't got any grades right now, so it's going to say 0. So for you hammy squirrels, y'all going to go crazy saying that you got an F for the semester. Y'all need some pills. Okay? So don't worry about this until when? After you get some grades. Self-explanatory. If you make 100 on your first test, you've got 100 times 0.6, and then, 100 times 0.8 because you haven't taken the final yet. And then you take whatever you've done on homework, multiply that by 0.2, and you add those two together, and that's your grade. And your grades on your unit test are 80% until you take what? The final, and then there's 60% because your final is 20%. I tell students, just add up your grades on your test, average them, and see what you got, because that's pretty much going to be close to what you're going to have. StatCrunch, that's just a glorified spreadsheet. And the ebook, that's number, okay, this is number 4, sorry. Number 4 button, number 3 button. And number 4 button is right here. The ebook is how you get to print out your book if you want to. If you don't want to have to bring it to class every day. Okay? Now some of you have a la carte, which is this right here. It's just it's the book. It's part of the book that we use, and we don't have you get the parts that we don't use. So you just get it like that. Some of you might have a hard copy. If you need a hard copy, I might have a couple of copies in my office. First come, first serve. If you do, I do give you a copy. Please take that, because not only can you benefit from it, but other students in the future, especially students with hardships. Now, you can come by and get one of my books. I think I've got 2 or 3. Come by and get one of my books, and then you can use the 14 days free access until your financial aid comes through or whatever. And then you can get the access code either online or at the bookstore. I think the access code is $103. I think it's less online, maybe $10. But there's a $10 difference, around about $10 difference between the bookstore price and the online price for the access code. You're going to see what the access code pays for, especially if you've never seen this before. The book with the access code is what, $160? Anybody know? So if you come by and get one of my books, or you borrow your book from your sister, or you share a book with your boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, you can save yourself about $60. $60 in my truck is about a half tank of gas or diesel. All right? So, you know, $60 is $60. So that's something, and I'll show you how to use all of these. This other stuff is just extra. I don't use much of this other stuff. That's mine. You don't see this. This is mine. Some of these you don't see. So let's go ahead and look at some of these things and talk about my procedures about some of these things. I'm a very, very big proponent of homework, like most teachers. Some teachers are like, yeah, you can do the homework if you want to. I don't care. But I think homework is very important, because homework not only helps you, but it helps me. How? Gauges the class. In other words, if Miss Jones comes in here every day with 15 questions, then the class is not going to go as fast than if nobody asks questions. And I've had students, not Miss Jones, but I've had students come in and they've asked 10 questions a day. And it didn't slow down the class very much, because I would go over those questions and then we'd move on. But you can't do 2.1 homework while we're on 2.5. Now, I do give you a day. Remember me telling you I give you a day to ask questions between the tests, but right before I give you the test? Did I tell you all that? Okay, I can't remember. I got 6 classes. I can't remember what I tell those classes. All right, let's say that today is the last of Unit 1. I just finished 3.3 or 3.4. Look on your syllabus. 3.4? Okay, 3.4. I just finished it today. That means you're going to have a test next Tuesday. I'm going to start it next Monday. All right? I will give you next Tuesday to come in here and ask any questions. And usually what I do when I have those days, what I pull up on the board. Do you remember? I pull up the test. You remember? Sometimes I pull the test up. Anybody remember? You don't remember anything? Oh yeah, I didn't like that. What? Yeah, that's what I do. Did I do it with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't like that. All right, I pull the test up, and I go through and I do the test, and it shows you the 6 or 7 easy questions, and I show you how to do the test. It's not going to be the same test that you get. Is it? It's going to be totally different. It's going to have the same type of questions, different numbers, different order, but it's going to be, the 6, 7 easy questions are going to be the same for 90% of y'all that gets all those right. 10%, I don't know why y'all can't get them right. But on that day, I'll either answer questions or I'll go through the test. And then that will help most of you. Most of you have sense enough to write the questions down, and that's a good review for the test. So let's look at a homework and let's see what it looks like. And let me go through and tell you how to utilize the homework. I'm looking for a certain, there we go. That's the one I'm looking for right there. Now, when you pull up the homework, it'll look like this. Usually, we are told when we set up, my classes that I'm in charge of is college algebra and college trig. So I set up those classes with mylabsplus. I don't know who's in charge of Math 120, but they are told, just like we are, to put 15 to 20 questions of homework on each section. I max that out to 25 to 30 on my college algebra and college trig. Why? Because they are stair-step math courses, and you need those courses to do good in calc. So I have a little bit of leeway there, putting 25 to 30 on each one. This class does not lead into another class, so you don't have to have as much banging up against the head, or banging the head up against the wall as a 110 and 111. So that's why y'all don't have as many as 30 like I have, like I put in mine. The question that I'm picking right here has a film strip beside it and the little arrows magenta. That means that it has a video and it has a graphic tutorial. Okay, now we're going to go through and I'm going to talk about these guys as soon as I can get this thing out of the way. There. Help me solve this. Oh, well, first of all, here's your questions up here. And you can go back and forth and pick the questions. You can go back. If you miss one, it'll mark it wrong. But there's a button down here called Similar Exercise. You'll see it when you get it wrong. Similar Exercise. It'll regenerate the problem with different numbers. You can do it again. If you get it right, the X will turn into a what? A check mark. So what should everybody turn in on their homework? All check marks, do they? Nope. 15s, 52s, 27s. I don't understand it. But one of the reasons people never are able to do math, one of the reasons is because they're a little bit what? Lazy. Dumb? I don't know. If you can't get one of my easy questions right, yeah, I suggest, yeah. Synaptic problems, maybe, I don't know. But when you help me solve this, you're going to get something like this, and it's not going to just tell you how to do it, it's going to ask you questions. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you got this problem, 1/2 x minus 2 is equal to 6. Now I'm picking an algebra problem. Y'all don't have to do this, but I'm picking an algebra problem because it's short and to the point. Okay? And you don't know how to do this problem, so you go down to the tutoring center and you see a nice looking tutor and you say, I'll go sit beside her or him, and you sit down beside and say, I can't do this problem. And that tutor says, okay, well you have an algebra problem here. What's your objective of algebra? That's what the tutor asked you. And what do you say? You get the variable what? By itself. So how do we do that? How do we get the variable by itself? We got this -2 in the way. How do we get the variable by itself? Add 2, and if you do it on one side, what do you have to do? Do it on the other. And then you do your math, and you get 1/2 x is equal to 8. Now, how do you get rid of multiplying by 1/2? You divide by 1/2. And what if you divide on 1/2 on one side, what do you have to do? Divide by 1/2 on the other side. And when you divide a number by a fraction, you multiply by the what? Reciprocal. And then you get x is equal to 16. What do you notice about the way that I tutored you in that problem?
Talk me through all the steps.
I not only talked you through all the steps, but what was I doing? I was asking questions. When you have a tutor that asks questions, you have a guided GUIDED or whatever, guided tutorial. That is a learning style, guided learning style. A lot of you like the guided learning style. You may not like the questions, but you may like the tutor or the teacher that actually shows you which step and tells you, okay, now you need to get rid of this 4. How do you get rid of a -4? You add 4. Versus the other one, which I'm going to show you in just a second. So when you hit that button, and you need to write this down, especially if you've never used Course Compass or mylabsplus or MyMathLab, it's all the same. When you hit Help Me Solve This, that is a guided tutorial. It's going to ask you questions. Sometimes it gets on you what? Nerves. Sometimes it gets on your nerves. So be careful. The student that uses a guided tutorial to help me solve this is the student that is very insecure about that type problem. In other words, lost. That is the one that, you know, that don't need a little push here and there, but needs to pick me up. That's the student that uses help me solve this. The other type question, the other type tutorial you'll have is, I can't remember these by heart, so I have to go to another problem. View an example. When you see the word view an example, that is going to be, hello? That's going to be a tutorial. 1/2 x minus 3 is equal to 4. You don't know how to do this problem, so you walk into the tutorial lab and you sit beside a tutor, and it's not the tutor that you had the other day, it's another tutor. And you sit beside this tutor and say, please help me with this problem, I need to do it for my homework. And he goes, okay, well that's an algebra problem, it's a multi-step algebra problem. You need to get rid of the -3, so you add 4 on both sides. And when you do that, you get 1/2 x is equal to 8. And then you divide by 1/2, and when we divide a number by a fraction, we multiply by 2, or the reciprocal. This cancels, and you get x is equal to 16.
Why would you add 4?
You add 3, you add 4.
Shut up.
You got the tutorial.
I think I need a trick for
There. Hey. How about that? Is that better? Y'all get the point. All right? Why? What's the difference in the way that I presented this one and the first one? I didn't ask you any questions. I just what? I just showed you. And that's what the difference is between the two buttons. Explain or do whatever. Help me solve this and view an example. So for those of you that's never used this, that's the two differences. Question. All right, let me go back to number 4, and I'll show you the video, or whatever number I was in. Yeah. Animation. Well, let's see if it has a video. Let's see if 4. Okay, video. Video, that's self-explanatory. I'm not going to explain the video. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have to. Everybody in here has
So,
seen
looking at the
YouTube.
normal distribution definition, the
And
frequencies
that's the
would
video.
start low.
She is a
and then
very
they would
sweet.
increase
I
the
met her
maximum
at
frequency
a
towards the
conference.
middle,
She's
And then
about
we begin to
6'4".
decrease again.
She
to
reminds
low
me of a
frequency.
basketball player.
The
And she is
distribution
very
should be
nice,
approximately
and she does a
symmetric,
good
with
job
frequencies
explaining.
evenly distributed
And,
on both sides of the
that's your
maximum
videos.
frequency.
What you don't want is the
We could
publisher
look
of
at
the
an
book.
example of
I mean,
this.
the
For
author.
example, let's
He
check
is
something
very-
out. Say we had 7
Oh, gosh.
classes, and the frequencies were 2, 3,
He
4,
puts you to sleep by
5,
shaking your
4,
hand. I mean,
3,
he's
and
just-
2. You can see that it
She's
starts
very
low,
good.
2, and increases to a frequency of 3, 4. Here's our maximum frequency right in the middle.
And that's
then it
Daniel
decreases
Espanol.
again, 4, 3,
you
2. So
wanna
if we
learn
actually
Spanish,
look at this,
that's
you're
how I
starting
learned
low,
Spanish.
Starting low, going up, and coming back down low again, and the maximum's in the center. So
Center,
that would
central,
be an example of the
central.
normal distribution.
Yep, there we go. She's a very nice lady. She don't handle her liquor very well, but no, I'm just kidding. Animation. Animation is a cross between a video and I ain't gonna let me check. Okay. Was I in Firefox? I'm in Firefox, right? I thought I was. Okay, let me try another one. Maybe it's just a glitch. What room are we in? I'm getting tired of this. I'll leave it right there. Graphic tutorial basically does not have the person talking. It has a person talking as a voiceover, and it has the computer doing computer graphics, moving the +4 over, moving the +4 over, has a next button, tells you what to do with the next step, and it is just a different learning style. It's some people like the graphic tutorial better than the video. Okay, it's just a preference. I want to wait till she logs on, and hopefully she can. There she goes. This is the one I send pizzas to. Yeah, her name is Mary Kay. Where did my error go? Did y'all just see that? Hold on, let me do it again. There. Okay, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Talking about how people learn better.
Yeah, some people learn better with this. It's just a choice, and I'll show it to you as soon as she figures out what's wrong with it. And I'll move this over. StatCrunch, textbook. Some of you like to read. I cannot read the funny paper without falling asleep. Does anybody in here fall asleep when they read? I'm not talking about when you read like 3 chapters. I'm talking about like a half a page. That's me. I cannot read. I tried to read a book about one of my ancestors, which I was very interested in, and I never did finish it because I just fall asleep when I read. And I don't know if it's just a calming effect or what. I don't know why she's not doing anything. But anyway, she should be. When y'all start seeing the mouse move around, that's when she's working on it. But anyway, there she goes. Some people can read War and Peace in like 2 days. All right? Those are
One
the
distribution
people.
shape is the standard of comparison.
What the heck did she
It
do?
is called the normal distribution, a term chosen because the distribution is simple and regular. Normal distributions are symmetric, unimodal, and have short tails. They are thus the kind of distribution we often hope to see in data, but rarely do find in practice. Normal distributions are important as a standard of comparison. They also play an important role in the mathematics that form the background to statistics. The histogram above shows some values
And
drawn
that's-
from a normal distribution.
This is just like a video,
Of course,
except it's
each
done
time
with
we
the
draw
computer.
values at random from a
has
distribution,
computer
we get a
graphics on
slightly
it, and
different
that's it.
histogram, but the general shape of the histogram shows what to expect.
And it usually has a next or whatever. That's it. This is her. She's probably going to want another pizza after today. And that's the graphic tutorial. Textbook. You click on textbook and it takes you to the page and the paragraph where this is introduced. So if you got your book and you haven't opened it yet, then turn to page. What page is it? 44. And it shows you where it's talking about frequency distributions and all that stuff. Okay, I'm sorry, we're on this one, I'm sorry. I clicked on this one, not the one we clicked on before. So that's the textbook. StatCrunch is a glorified spreadsheet on steroids or vitamins. Okay? You can use it or you cannot use it. It doesn't matter to me. That's not going to hurt your grade at all. You don't need it to do the homework problems. You can use it, or you can use your calculator, or you can use it to do by hand, or you can use an Excel spreadsheet. I'll show you how to do all that stuff. Okay? I don't know what this is. Maybe how to use it. Okay. How to do this on technology. I will show you how to do I'll show you how to do StatCrunch. I'll show you how to use TI-83. I'll show you how to use Excel, and that's pretty much it. Because you don't need the other ones, because the only reason you use these two is if you're a mathematician or if you're a statistician. Okay? So that's what that is. And it'll show you how to use TI. I would not use this until later, or if I don't show you, which I do. So that's what the tech help is for. Print. What if you want to do your homework the old traditional way? Just work on paper and pencil at home. Then you hit print. Not many people print this question only. Why would you use print this question only? Bring it in to me, or if you want to if you didn't know how to do it and you want to show it to me and then I give it back to you after I write it on the board and then you do it on your paper. But really you don't have to do that because you got to ask my instructor. The reason you would use this is to print homework assignment. Print homework assignment is how you print the whole assignment, put it in your notebook, do it, go back, type the answers in. The ones you don't know, don't try to put the answers in, and then I will go over them because you send them to me via Ask My Instructor. You have them in your notebook. When I do them, you write the way I do them out to the side in your notebook. That's the only reason you would print out the whole assignment, is to do it or to put it in your notes, one of the two. I have no problem with people printing out the homework to do it at home. Just make sure you type your answers in after you do it. Now let's get to the most important dang old button. And the most important dang old button is right here. Ask My Instructor. Now the reason that's important is because that is what I gauge the class on. Let's say we do 3.1 today. And I go through 3.2. I go through 3.2. I cover all the material in 3.2. And I tell you tonight Have a good weekend. When y'all come in Monday, have questions on 3.2 or we'll go into 3.3. That's what I'll say. If I get questions Monday morning, what does that mean? We're going to go over those questions. If I don't have questions, what are we going to do? Go on to 3.3. Those that didn't do 3.2 homework are going to be behind. Okay? That's the double-edged sword. I leave the homework open, but you need to do it as I cover it. And I give you, Miss Poland, Miss Jones, Quiet Storm, where you at? There you are. Where else? Who else have I got in here? Last name? Great. Latifa. Your first name messes me up, right? What's your first name? Kenyatta. Kenya. It messes me up. I'm going to start saying just Ken. All right. Who else? Anybody else? Yeah, you. Last name Smith? Frank. Okay. All of y'all know my class is not bang, 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 bang. Is it? It's not. It's based on what you send me. Squeaky door gets what? OIL. Or grease. I don't pronounce OIL or FOIL because there's two ways to pronounce it, the right way and the wrong way. And the right way and the wrong way is wherever you're from. So I do not pronounce OIL. That's just the way I don't COIL, FOIL, OIL, I just spell it. And now y'all are going to go home and say, how do I pronounce it? Do I pronounce it the right way or the wrong way? And then you're going to go home and stand in the mirror and say, FOIL, FOIL, you're going to say it 2 or 3 times, and then you're going to try to figure out if you say it the right way or the wrong way. And then you're going to get obsessed with it and drive yourself crazy. No. I have a story about OIL and FOIL. I have a story behind it. When I was teaching intermediate algebra, I was teaching like the second semester that I've ever taught in my life. I'm not as polished and refined as I am now. And I had a very thick southern accent, unlike my perfect accent now. And I'm being very sarcastic. And I would say, okay, we're fixing to do the FOIL method. But I didn't say FOIL, I pronounced it the way that I pronounced it. Well, there was a lady in the class, and she was from Pennsylvania. Okay, the reason I say Pennsylvania is I'm a Groundhog Day fan. Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. And here we are in Groundhog Day in western Pennsylvania. And that's the way he says it. So she was from Pennsylvania. And she talked like this. She had a nasal thing, kind of like that group that tries to sing country music. 3 guys, whatever their name are, they sing through their nose. Anyway, shut up, Hubert. Shut up, Hubert. I wish me Benny. Okay. She had this nasal thing going on. Huh? Yeah, very, but the nanny was a whole lot more hotter than she was. I'm sorry. Caveman, sorry. All right, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, she had the nasal thing going on, and she told everybody, because back then I passed out the index cards, and she put on her index card that she spoke perfect English, and that anybody that has an accent, she does not have an accent because other people have accents because they don't speak perfect English. Okay, that's what she said. Huh?
She sounds fun.
Yeah, she was a real bitch. Anyway, she would make fun of me. She would poke fun at me because of the things that I would say, like yonder, and cut out the lights, and mash the button, and all this stuff that Southerners say. And she just got a big kick out of it, and she thought it was funny to make fun of me. She was insecure all over. And of course, I didn't know that back then because I was so dang nervous. It was only the second class I've ever taught. And there was some Bubbas and Bubettes sitting on the first row, West Oak, Oakway, Crescent, LA, okay? And they thought it was funny for a little bit, but they started getting a little bit pissed. Pickens, okay? still have FFA, you know, they were getting pissed. And about the third or fourth week from the end of the semester, we were going into the FOIL method and the reverse FOIL method for factoring. And I put, okay, we need to teach y'all how to do the blank method. And I didn't pronounce FOIL. I said it. I didn't spell it. And she did her little, I knew what she was going to do when she raised her hand. She would raise her hand and she would say, Mr. McLuhan, I do not understand what you are saying. And I knew where she was going with it because she done made fun of me so much. I looked over at the Babettes like, here we go again. And one of them was like, and that was the girl. That was the Babette that went like this. You know how y'all girls, y'all are catty. Oh my gosh. Y'all will like scratch each other's eyeballs out if you give it a chance. All right? It's not like guys. Guys are just walking down the hallway and we bump into each other and start a fight. Y'all hold it in and then y'all just like, Ringer! But anyway, she went, I was like, oh God. And I said, well, it's the blank method. And you'll understand when I explain it. And she said, she just shook her head, I still don't understand what you are saying. She knew damn well what I was saying. Anyway, so I wrote it out. And she went, oh, I understand. You mean foil. And that's the way she said it. There was 22 people in that class, and every one of them erupted in laughter. And laughed for 2 or 3 minutes. And I just sat there, and I let them laugh. I didn't say a word. I just sat there, and I walked over to the desk, and I sat down. And after they said, they kept saying, and the Bubba's and the Bubbettes, oil, 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 oil. She ran out of the classroom crying. She never did come back. Her books sat back there for 2 or 3 days, and eventually they were gone. I don't know what happened to her. She never did drop, so I had to give her a big F. Best F I ever gave. I wanted to record it. But the whole point was she could dish it out, but she couldn't what?
Take it.
She couldn't take it. So ever since then, I do not pronounce OIL because she was perfect, and she pronounced it perfectly, and I don't pronounce it. Oil. I don't pronounce oil or oil or boil. I do not do that. Mine is the traditional Southern what? Oh. Okay? So don't say anything or I'll kick your ass out of here. Or I'll embarrass you. All right, so that's why I say OIL. Now, I don't know how I got onto that, but ask my instructor is where I was. If you want to send me something, send it to me. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't even have to put a message on it. You hit ask my instructor. Now I've got some filters on my email, so it's not going to come to me. So there. No. Let me move this out of the way. If you were a good teacher, I would not have to send this to you. You suck. Okay, you send that, and it will come when I take my filters off, and I haven't taken them off, it will come to my email. And what I will do is I will put them in a folder called Math 120, 1110, and I will go over them. Miss Poland, do I do that? Anybody else? Do I do it? Any of my, Miss Jones, do I do it? How long will I spend on homework questions? It's not going to come because I got my filters on. I got to fix my filters. How long will I do it? As long as it takes. If you send me 20 questions and all of them are different, I'll go over every single one of them. Now, how can I afford to do that? Because how many days am I saving not having to go over homework or tests? Remember that? 12 days. There's 12 extra days that you have because I don't have to hand out a test to you. You do it, give it back to me, I'll grade it, hand it back to you, we go over it. Those are 2 days. All right, that's the first time you yawn. You only got 2 more times. All right? I don't have to do it. And then checking homework, that's 5 days. So 8 plus 5 is what? 13. Sorry. 13 days that I have to spend on homework questions. How many weeks are there in the semester? I got 13 extra days. That comes out to about a day a week that I can spend on what? Your homework questions. See how that works out? It's just the concept. It's just unbelievable. Now, if you don't use it, then what am I going to assume? I know. And don't be sending 5.1 material in when we're on 5.8. Now, that day that we preview the test, I will do any questions you send in. But I'm not going to do 5.2 questions when we're on 5.6. When should you get those questions answered? Office hours. Come by Friday, 8 to 12. We'll order a pizza. Can't do Medicina, sorry. Have to go off campus for Medicina. If you go into El Herrero's and you say mucho Medicina, you know what they'll say to you? You know Hubert. That's my invention. Mucho Medicina. I cut my thumb one time, and I'm real good friends with the owner of El Herrero's. He works out at the gym, bless his heart. Does anybody know Luis? He's about 6 feet tall, and he's about that big around. And he works out at the gym, and he can't stand working out at the gym, but his wife makes him go. And Lisa is just as sweet as she can be. So anyway, you just got to know Louise. Louise is just a great person. And Louise, and I've been going there a long time because it's right there near my house. So I cut my finger on the farm, my thumb, and I had it wrapped up with duct tape or whatever I wrapped it up with. And duct tape, the best thing in the world. And I had to put super glue on it and push it together because it was real deep. And he said, "What's wrong with your thumb?" And I said, "I cut it." I said, "It's hurting too." He said, "I know what you need." I said, "I need some medicine." And he said, "Yeah, you need some medicine." And I said, "Como se dice medicine en español?" And he goes, "No translation," or something like that. And then I said, "Well, we'll call it medicina." And he said, "Yes, medicina." And then that's when it started. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I was still in prison at that time. I'm sorry, ball and chain. But now, when I go in there, it's like, "Oh, mucho medicina." I said, "Mucho medicina, bad day." And they'll bring me fresh refreshments. And I'll be okay by the time I leave there. So if you go to a Mexican restaurant, go out here on 24, talk to Louise and say, "I need mucho medicina." And he'll go, "Oh, you know Hubert." So he's a good guy. He's real nice. Anyway, I have no idea how I got on that. But anyway, send your questions in, and we won't have any problems. Let me show you this right quick, and then I'll get off of this. Get out of this. It didn't come in because I've got filters on. Let's say I hit that and hit check answer. I would love to program these messages. Wouldn't you love to? You are stupid. You should quit school. McDonald's is hiring. Why are you even trying this problem? You suck. That would be nice. I would get fired the first day because I would secretly program them in to where they come up like every 25th time. They wouldn't catch it. Oh, it'd be funny. But anyway, huh?
Every 25th time?
Yeah, every 25th time. Anyway, you do it again. The answer's not correct. Gives you an X. Hit similar exercise. And let's see, what is it asking? Does the frequency distribution have a normal curve? Yes. And it would be because the frequency is approximate. I guess it's that one. And watch what happens to that X on the number 5. Changes to a check. So that similar exercise right here is your way to turn in 100 for your homework. Now, 100 for your homework. What is homework? What percentage is homework? That was your first yawn. I saw that. That was your first yawn. All right, 20%. So 20 times 100, 20% times 100 is what? 20, right? 20% times 100. 20. So how much does that add to your grade? 20 points. Okay, for some of you that's going to turn in 24s and 52s, you need to do your freaking homework. All right? Because all it does is what? It helps you. Now, you can't control the final exam. And you can't control well, you can control the unit test because I give you how many times. And you've got 7 gimmies on there. So you can control that. What do you have 100% control over? The homework. That's up to you whether you get an 80 or a 100 on your final grade. Okay? Okay, who's got questions for me on homework, logistics of the class, anything? Anybody got any homework question? Anything? Ask it now. Text. Sorry, let me go there. If you want to print out your text or your book, you go to ebook and you go to the section. We starting in 3.2 after y'all do your reading. 3.2 and multimedia e-text, and it will let you print out how many pages at a time. Anybody know? 10 pages at a time. So you could print out 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4, put it in your notebook, and bring it to class. Do you have to buy a book? No. Everybody in here has bought a book. You just don't know it yet. It's on here. That's why I say I don't care what you bring to class, because you can bring an old book. You still got your new book right here. All you got to do is print it out 10 pages at a time. Save you $60. $60 is $60. So that's up to you. If you don't open your book, you can take it back. Please don't go back to the bookstore and say, "You told me I didn't need a book." I did not say that. I said I don't care what kind of book you use. And remember, I do have a couple if you need it. Okay? Grade book, that's self-explanatory. If you want to review something go to the grade book. When you go to the grade book, you're going to have your list of problems, and over here, what are you going to have? Review. And that's where you actually can't see it, can you? Yeah. And that's where you can print it out. You hit review, and then what's down at the bottom? It should be somewhere. I got to fix them because some teachers don't let you print it out. The teacher that set this one up is not allowing you to print. I have to go in and change those. Somebody remind me to do that if I forget. But when you do your homework, you'll see it. Who else has got a question? Y'all don't have any questions. I covered this stuff so well, but y'all don't have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
I know you live on McClure Road, but where, I know it's
McLeese.
And then, on the board, somewhere in between there.
You know where McLeese School is? There's a crossroads right there at McLeese School, Domus Bridge Road. No, that's on down. But right there at McLeese, and there's right in front of McLeese School, there's an old store. The old store's roof falling in. Huh? Right there. That's McClure Road. Okay?
Where you live?
Huh?
I'll be able to see your house.
1 hour, I live 1 mile down McClure Road. Stalker, okay?
I drive down the next road, and I'm always in McClure.
Yeah, McClure Road right there. Yeah, 1 mile down that road. Yep. I live in a brick house in the middle of a cow pasture. It's got a bulldozer and a track hoe sitting in front of it. Because I do a lot of... Okay, beat the horn, and I'll call the police. Yes, sir. I will never call the police. If a woman's stalking me, I will never call the police. Man, you got problems, bud. You might get a shotgun up and go ahead. You had a question.
I know you said the homework will be done at the end of the summer unit, right? So, like, do we just do our homework whenever we want to, like, you know,
Yep. Now, when should you do it? Whenever I cover it. Whenever you cover it. Now, what is the trap? The trap is, I'll get to it Saturday. Saturday never comes. And then the test comes up, and then you're going to be SOL. You're going to try to do 8 sections of homework in like 2 hours, and that ain't going to work. And then you're going to get mad at me, and I'm just going to ignore you because it's not my fault. Okay? Question. Another question. Come on, don't be scared. I mean, she asked me where I lived, okay? You can't get much worse than that, all right?
Are we done? Can we go?
No, you cannot. I'm going to keep you here the last minute. Do you not like me or what? Is that what it is? No, I'm just kidding.
Do you want the real answer?
I'm just kidding. No, I don't want a real answer. I'll have to go out and put smokestacks on my truck if you don't like me, because then my insecurities will come up, and then I'll have to jack my truck up and put smokestacks on it. You ever notice when you have a jacked up truck? I'm not talking about 2 or 3 inches, 6 inches. That's okay, because that's, Jeeps have to have a lift kit. Jeep 3. I got one friend. He's got a Jeep Cherokee, and he's got a perfect lift kit on it because it's about 3 inches and it sits perfect. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these guys that have the 17 feet trucks. Usually when they get out, they're either bald-headed, short. We won't go into the other one. What?
They're all scrawny.
Yep.
They get out of big trucks, they're really tiny.
Yep. They're either that, short, no hair. We won't talk about the other.
probably wear sunglasses inside.
Yep, that's another indicator, girls. If you ever, I got an indicator. I was gonna write a book one day. It's gonna be called Caveman: When to Run. And the number one indicator of a caveman, if he wears sunglasses indoors or on cloudy days, run, get away from him. He has got issues. And I got all kinds. I got 25. I got a whole list of them. And one of them is smokestacks. One of them is if he spends $10,000 on stereo equipment or TV equipment to go into a $1,000 car. Run!
He's ever been on that arm wrestling show?
Oh my gosh! You know it's not on anymore.
Really, they canceled that?
Go to the website. I mean, go to Google. I'll Google it. It's funny. There was this show. Oh my gosh! There was what time? Let me ask somebody. Miss Jones, what time's class over?
12:35.
Okay, we're good. All right, I'm gonna show you something funny. I ask people I trust. I trust Miss Jones and Miss Poland. Mr. Franks, I don't trust you. You might tell me a story. It was called what? Game of Arms. That was the most dumbest show I think I've ever seen. And you just need to go and look up the Facebook. I mean, look up the comments on it. Oh my gosh! If you want to see a caveman, watch this, because it is 100% ultra caveman. Beat your wife up when you get home. You know, that type of caveman. That's it right there. And all of them, what do they wear when they're going into the wearing sunglasses? I'm gonna go arm wrestle. Got to put my sunglasses on.
I still like the one with the beard.
Yeah, the one that has the 2 beards with the little sidelines going like this. Man, you have issues. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. Oh, I was gonna do attendance. That has to be probably the dumbest show I think I've ever seen. Go on YouTube, Google it. I bet you won't be able to watch it for 15 minutes. You'll be like, oh my God, this is so stupid. They had one guy out there holding, they tied him up to the bumper of his car, and they put him on a hood, and they were pulling him around in the snow, and he was holding on with his arm wrestling arm to make it stronger.
That one dude lost and he cried. He lost arm wrestling. It's a big deal.
I think they have taken reality TV. I think they need to stop. They just need to stop. That should be taken off of TV.
No. No.
All it is about 3 sluts and 2 man whores.
You could see that anywhere though.
Yeah. Go to Wendell's. I worked there for 3 years when it was at Wendell's North, when it was 29 North. I worked there for 3 years till I got shot at, and then I decided if I'm going to get shot at, I go in the Marine Corps to get shot at.
What you get shot at?
Oh, that's a long story. It involved a woman. It always does. Actually, I didn't have anything to do with the woman. Some man was beating on the woman, and I went out and grabbed the woman and brought her in. There was 2 of us, 2 bouncers went out and got it, brought her in, and he just come over the top of his car with a .38, started shooting. Yeah. For $10 an hour, I told Wendell, I said, no, I'm going to go in the Marine Corps. No, I didn't go in the Marine Corps. I just quit after that. Anybody in here from Belton or Honey Path? Oh boy. I just wondered. Anyway, I worked with a guy named Tony Ashley and a guy named Wayne Burdett, but he's probably dead by now. All right, what class is this? 24?
10.
10. All right. Bannister.
Here.
Yep, and you picked Miss Baroni just showed up. What the heck is doing that? Okay, now Miss Bannister's showing up.
That's what I think.
I'm not doing it. All right, Bannister's here. Baroni. Barrington.
Right here.
Carpenter. Sharping is here. Dawson, I'm learning some of your names. Dawson.
Here.
Desai.
Here.
Franks. Gray. Hunsinger.
Here.
Jones and Jones. I know one of you's here.
Here.
Both of you here. Kern is here. I thought, no, she's not here. Kurtz. Marshall. Mayfield.
Here.
Morgan. What about my Mullins? What about the girl? There she is. Y'all need to sit beside each other. No, I'm just kidding. Oliver. Miss Poland is here. Miss Robinson. Miss Robinson. Or Mr. Robinson.
Mister.
I'm sorry, okay? Mr. Robinson. There you are. Quiet storm. All right, Roller. Sammons. Smith. Smith. Smith, Smith, Smith. Thrasher. Tollison. Here. Tollison Turner. Whitman. Wilmerine. Wilson, she was here. And Smith. All right, let me ask you a question.